my Jeff Hardy shirt on today because Jeff just deserves better. And we'll get into that. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I'm starting a new series on this channel where I'm going to do a little review at the end of the week of both Raw and SmackDown. Just kind of like chatting about what went on, my opinions and all that kind of stuff. I also post a review of both Raw and SmackDown on my blog, Pretty Little Leos. I have my friend Aisha, I'll link them below, but this is kind of just going to be like a roundup of everything. So I'm going to start with Raw and then the second half will be SmackDown, and I'll leave like a little timestamp. This is not going to be like watching a Cultaholic video or like anything like that. It's literally just my opinions of Raw and SmackDown, and it's just for fun. I have been watching, I watch wrestling like religiously, like I watch both Raw and SmackDown every week, and all the pay-per-views from like late 2009 to like 2014 time, I'd say, is probably when I kind of phased out of it. And then during lockdown this year, my best friend Miranda, she got me back into it, so that's a big chunk that I missed out on. I'm not a professional, it's literally just, it's just jokes, it's just fun. One of my favourite parts of Raw, actually I would right at the start with a moment of bliss. I just think that that character, that gimmick is so good. Honestly, I'm obsessed with it. I love The Fiend anyway, just because I feel like it's just so freaky, like it's so different from something I've seen before. And I think that kind of spooky character is always a good one. Like you always had it with The Undertaker, and now that he's, you know, retired and stuff, I think The Fiend is an amazing replacement for that kind of superstar that when their like music hits or whatever, everyone's like, oh my god. So yeah, I was a fan of his gimmick anyway, but then when they added Alexa Bliss into it, I just think it is amazing. Like it's so good. The whole Firefly Funhouse and just everything, I think it is so good. It's so entertaining, it's so creepy and weird, and I just love it. And yeah, like I said, I think Alexa brings something new to it, and I just think that combination of them two is so good. Randy versus Bray the first time round, obviously it happened while I wasn't watching WWE anymore, but I went back to watch some of their matches and it was such a good feud. Yeah, I'm really glad they're bringing that feud back in, but obviously in a different way. I think they just work so well together. I'm super excited to see their match at TLC. I was kind of hoping that it would be Alexa and Fiend versus Randy and like Nikki Cross or something. I thought that would have been cool, but that whole idea of like Alexa being the Fiend's weakness is really interesting as well. It's kind of like how Kane was like obviously this huge like monster, had no feelings, that whole backstory of him and the Undertaker and everything, and then they gave him like Tori, was it Tori? Yeah, I think it was Tori, as his like girlfriend, and started to kind of like humanize him in a way, and I think that's like what's happening with the Fiend, is that little bit of humanizing him, which I think is only going to make the character stronger. Next was the Jeff Hardy and Elias match, which I absolutely loved. It was my favourite match of the night. Obviously I'm a little bit biased because I love Jeff Hardy, he's one of my favourite wrestlers, has been forever. So I like Jeff Hardy, okay, so I'm gonna love I love all of his matches, but I try to be unbiased, but it's really hard. But yeah, it was a Symphony of Destruction match, which wasn't one I'd seen before. I know they have done them before with Elias, but this was my first time seeing one, and I thought it was a really cool concept of like the musical instruments and stuff. I love any kind of weird gimmicky stipulation and just anything a bit different. I always love to see stuff like that, so I was already super excited for it. I thought it was really good. The whole 24/7 champion thing, I can pretty much always take it or leave it. Like it's kind of jokes. I think it's alright. I'm not very invested in it, but I did think that was pretty funny when R-Truth was hidden in the piano. I didn't watch the movie for a long time, so Elias wasn't somebody that I knew before the Jeff feud. They'd like feuded before over, like, Elias thought Jeff was the one that hit him with a car and stuff. They did that storyline a while ago, and I don't really know why they needed to revisit it. It had kind of been like, you know, like solved, like they kind of proved during Jeff's feud with Sheamus that it wasn't Jeff, so there was that. I don't really know, but yeah, they decided to come back to it, I guess, to just like finish it off now that Jeff's back on Raw. For not knowing about Elias or like ever really seeing him before, I think his gimmick's pretty cool, that like songwriter gimmick. I think he's a pretty good heel, easy to root against. The match itself I thought was so good. I thought it was amazing. I thought Elias and Jeff were both really good. When Elias got electrocuted, that was crazy. Like I thought his acting was so funny. It was so good. And obviously the highlight was Jeff's swanton bomb off of the ring post. That was amazing. I feel like in any sort of match like this, you're always expecting like a big moment from Jeff, and he always delivers. So that was like my highlight of the match, my highlight of Raw. I absolutely loved it. In Jeff's next feud, because they said like on commentary, they said this is basically supposed to like finish this whole thing between Elias and Jeff, and I'm kind of hoping for whatever he does next, they give him a bit of a different storyline. I would love to see him in the running for a title again, but also just, I think Jeff's whole persona, like the charismatic enigma, like character persona, like whatever you want to call it, is so good, and I absolutely love it. And I just feel like, and the crowd like always get behind Jeff. They've loved him for 20 years, and I just feel like they could do so much more with him than they are at the moment. And yeah, I just feel like they could do so much more with him. And as well, I think it's, you know, when they bring real life into storylines and stuff, I think it does work. I think it can work really well, and it has done with Jeff in his storylines, you know, before. But I think they should just give him a break, like bless him, because I feel like every time I'm like go back, even when I go back to watch like Jeff's matches, whether it's against like a CM Punk, MVP, or now like the storyline with Sheamus and Elias, it's like they always like paint him out to be some like delinquent, like, and I get it, because obviously he has these like real life struggles and they bring those into the storyline, but I think there's so much more to like his character, to his like, I just think there's so much more to him than that, and what they could do and where they could go with the storyline with him. So yeah, that's the only thing I would say. Retribution in total, so there was 2 Retribution matches, with one with Ricochet and then one with Dana Brooke, I think it is. Honestly, Retribution, I just can't really get on board with it, with them, with their whole thing. It's just like, I don't even know why. I think it was just done in a bit of an odd way. Like, I think there was potential there for kind of like a Nexus 2.0. Like, I remember Nexus at the time was so good. I mean, they kind of messed it up in the end with Nexus, but anyway, at the start they were so good. And I don't really know where Retribution went wrong. Like, it could have been like almost like a Nexus, like that whole concept of them like coming in and like wanting to take over and stuff, like that was crazy at the time with Nexus. But this time I feel like it just falls a little bit flat, and I don't know why they gave him such weird names like Slapjack. Like what even is that? And when he came out they had all these weird like camera angles and cuts and zooms, and I was like, this doesn't make him look any cooler, this is just annoying to watch. The match itself, the one with Ricochet, I did enjoy. I mean, I only really enjoyed it because of Ricochet. Like, he is so insanely talented. Like, the stuff that he can do in the ring is so good. Those are really like my favourite kinds of performers, like Ricochet, John Morrison, Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, like the high flyers. For me, I find them to be the most enjoyable to watch. I also love, like, you know, powerhouse types, you know, John Cena's, Undertaker's, all that kind of thing. But like, when it just comes down to like the technical wrestling, I just think they are so incredibly talented. Like, their gymnastics, the way they can just throw themselves around the ring, I think it is so amazing. And Ricochet is definitely up there, he is so good. So yeah, that one was alright. It was kind of a miss for me, but I did enjoy seeing Ricochet, so that was fine. And I also feel like with the Retribution matches as well, like the fact that is it Mustafa Ali, I think it is. I like totally get the stable thing, I love a good stable, but when they come out to the ring with you like every time, I don't know, kind of gets a bit old, do you know what I mean? And it was like the other Retribution match was Reckoning, I think it was, and Dana Brooke. It was really quick. I don't like, just to be honest, I don't really know anything about Dana Brooke, and I'm not very invested in Retribution, so it was alright. It was really quick as well, so it's kind of just like a meh one for me. I think, I don't know, there didn't really seem to be much of a story there, so it was kind of just like, but Reckoning was kind of cool actually. I quite liked her. Miz TV with Sheamus I thought was hilarious. I love the Miz and John Morrison, I always have done. So obviously John Morrison left for a while, so I'm so glad that they're like back, and they're back together as a duo, because I think they are so good. They're probably my favourite tag team of all time, only second to like DX probably. I just love them. And Sheamus as well, back when I was watching it, Sheamus was like good, like, but honestly I wasn't that invested in like his character. But I feel like now he's really like, I don't know, kind of like grown into this new kind of gimmick, and how he dresses and stuff I think is so much better. Yeah, I feel like he's really cool now. And also like having watched like behind the scenes videos and stuff, I love Sheamus, but I do think his more like on screen, yeah, I just think it's so much cooler now. I love Miss TV because it gives me such, especially like now that John Morrison's back on it, such Dirt Sheet vibes, and Dirt Sheet was one of my absolute favourite things in WWE growing up. I just loved it. This whole like feud that Lana and Nia have going on is just like a bit boring. It's kind of like, I know a lot of people didn't like Elias and Jeff because they find it kind of boring and a bit repetitive with like the guitar shots every week. I personally like enjoyed it, I thought it was good, but for me, Lana and Nia, like her putting Lana through a table every week, that was getting repetitive to me and a bit boring. So I do like seeing that now, like Lana's like probably like fighting back and stuff, and it's kind of more of a rivalry now, more than just like a bullying, I don't know. I really like Lana. Okay, Lana gets a lot of hate, like a lot, but I really like her, I really do. Look, is she the most amazing female wrestler WWE has ever seen? No, she's not, but I still really like her. I watch her on Total Divas. I saw like her seasons and stuff, and she genuinely loves wrestling so much. Like, she's always trying to improve, always trying to better herself. She has such passion for it, and I feel like people really like ignore that, and I don't know, I really like her. And especially there was one point in Total Divas where she hadn't been on TV for like ages. Like, she hadn't been on TV for, I think it was like 2 months or something, maybe even longer than that. So now, like, seeing her on Raw and kind of towards the top of the Divas division, I think it's really cool. I like her, I do. Asuka, I'm obsessed with her. I literally love her so much. I think she's such a good champion. Her energy is just like unmatched. She's just amazing. And I actually really like the little team of them two together. I just think that is just so sweet. So yeah, I like the team of them together. But with that being said, I don't think I really want her to win the tag titles with Lana while she still has the women's title. I feel like having just had, obviously, Bailey and Sasha have the women's titles, and Bailey have the like solo women's title as well, for me I just find it gets like a little bit boring, because you can't have like two storylines kind of like running alongside each other at the same time, like a tag one and a solo one, when the same person has both. And yeah, I just find it a bit boring. I don't think they'll win it at TLC, but who knows. But I would like to kind of see someone else hold them, because I prefer when tag titles are won by actual tag teams rather than this whole like frenemy, can they survive as a team type situation that Nia and Shayna have going on. Xavier Woods versus Cedric Alexander, again, was a bit of a meh one for me. I think they're both really talented. I think Cedric is really good, and I think he can have a really good solo push, aside from the Hurt Business, honestly. I think he's really good. I love the New Day anyway. They're always hilarious, they're always so good. So yeah, I think the New Day versus Hurt Business kind of thing is pretty good as well, so yeah. But the match itself was just kind of quick, so it was just a bit like the triple threat with AJ and Riddle and Keith Lee. I really enjoyed that. Again, Riddle isn't one that I know very well, but I really like his kind of like chilled out persona thing he's got going. It's quite different from something that I've seen before in WWE, so I quite like him, and how he mixes like martial arts and wrestling as well. I think that's really cool. AJ, obviously, AJ is so good. There's a reason why all of the WWE, so many WWE legends and superstars like praise him so much, and he is just so good. So any match with him, again, is one that I know I'm always going to enjoy. Keith Lee, I didn't follow his career through NXT, but I do really like him. I think he's going to be a great champion, whether that's like WWE champion or United States, whatever it is, when he wins his first one. I think that's going to be really good. I kind of knew going in, I assumed that AJ would win, just because obviously I guess it's a bit early to give Keith Lee a title, and Riddle, I don't know, I just feel like, I don't know, he's probably more of a United States or Intercontinental champ guy. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just kind of how I see it at the moment. So yeah, I kind of was expecting AJ to win, but I'm really excited to see him versus Drew. I think that's going to be really good. I always love seeing like powerhouse types like Keith Lee, like Drew, you know, against more like high fly types, you know, Jeff, AJ, all that kind of thing. I just think it makes for such a good match dynamic. While we're talking about Drew, I love Drew. I really do. I think he is so good. I think he's not, like, he's such a talented wrestler, but he's also such a great talker. Like, all of his promos and everything, they feel so genuine to me. I'm 100% behind them. I think he's so likeable. he's got that perfect balance of kind of like sassy, but like, I don't even know how to say it, like sassy but like strong, and like, I don't know how to word it. I just think he's so good. And especially, have you watched a movie like back, yeah, like 10 years ago now, and you see Drew first debut and obviously how that turned out, and you see him now, I think it is such an incredible journey. So I love seeing him as WWE champ, and I'm going to be really sad when the day comes that he loses it. Drew and Sheamus versus The Miz and John Morrison. I really loved this match. I thought it was really good. Again, it just further pushed Drew in his like people's champion like image, of how like Miz was trying to get in Sheamus' head and be like, you know, is Drew really a friend? Like, is he going to be a good tag partner and all that? And then he was, and he let Sheamus tag in and all that kind of stuff. It all just like subconsciously, like, you know, it's all in there trying to get the fans to back him, and I think it works so well. He's so good. John Morrison and The Miz, like I said, I love them. I really, really do. I love them so much. And I think they're so good in matches as well, because they have that great balance of entertaining and technical wrestling, like at the same time, like a bit of like comedy, proper like selling it, but it works really well and it makes the matches so much fun to watch. John Morrison is not afraid to just literally throw himself, like just hurl himself across the ring, and it's so good. Like, he did this full on like flip in the air. It just sells the move amazing. And yeah, I always love watching John Morrison wrestle. He's so talented. I would love to see him get like a solo championship again, even though I really liked Sheamus and Drew like partnering, and obviously they're like friends in real life and stuff. I actually would like to see a Drew and Sheamus rivalry. I think that would be really, really good. So yeah, that was Raw. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I think it sets up some of the TLC rivalries really well. I think, yeah, my favourite match was definitely Jeff versus Elias, but The Miz and Morrison versus Sheamus and Drew was definitely a close second. That was really good as well. It's like, I think it's like 2 hours later. I had to go somewhere, so yeah, but I finished talking about Raw, so talk about SmackDown. So SmackDown opened with a moment of silence for Pat Patterson, which was really, really sweet. It was really emotional. They did kind of like their standard, where they all like stand at the top of the entrance and they do the silence, and then they do the 10 bell salute. That's it, I couldn't remember that salute. They do the 10 bells, which is always really sad. So they did that, and they had like a tribute video to him as well that played like in the middle of SmackDown, and that was really, really sweet. And they did, during the video it showed you just all the superstars: John Cena, Edge, Shawn Michaels, Andre the Giant, like just like a new guys like Dolph, Sami Zayn, like just, yeah, it was a lot. There was so many in there that he had helped and guided, and he just seemed like the loveliest man. And then obviously being the first openly gay wrestler as well, that was huge for the LGBT community and fans, and just, yeah, so he was really a really special guy, and it's really sad. But SmackDown did a really, really nice tribute for him. I don't know if maybe Raw will do one on Monday as well, but yeah, the one on SmackDown was so lovely, and the video had him singing in it as well, and it was so lovely. So they had that was at the start, and then the first bit they had like an interview with Roman. I love Roman, I really do. I feel like I missed a lot of Roman. I obviously knew who he was, but I missed like a lot of that time period, like when he was like they kept trying to push him as like basically like the new John Cena, the new Rock, the new face of WWE, and I know that didn't really go down so well. There was a lot of like no, we don't want Roman, basically. But I feel like this has been so good for him. I literally have loved it. It's like my favourite version of Roman. The heel, being a Paul Heyman guy, it's all amazing. I really love Paul Heyman, I really do. I think he is so good. And I've loved him for ages, and to be honest, he's like the only thing I like about Brock. You know, credit where credit's due, gotta give him his respect, because he's, you know, he's an amazing wrestler, and he, you know, he's put his work in at the company. But I just much prefer a champion that doesn't win the belt and then take the championship off the air for, you know, ages at a time. Like Drew, he's there every week, he, you know, fights every week. That's, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So yeah, I loved Paul, and I missed him while there was no Brock. It was, yeah, there was definitely a bit of a hole, a Paul Heyman shaped hole. So I do love that he's back and that he's with Roman. I think that's such a good combo there. And yeah, Roman was just like disrespecting Taylor, I think her name is. You know, just being like, why are you asking me stupid questions, and like proper like laying on the heel stuff like dick. And yeah, I really liked it. I really like his whole like thing of just like, I'm better than everyone else. It's all about family, it's all about respect, you know, and that kind of thing. It's a pretty cool heel angle, I think, so I really like that. I love KO, I love Kevin Owens. The first time that I had heard about him, because like I said, I didn't watch it for a long time, was me and my best friend Miranda. We were watching, I think it was a WWE 24 or like a day of, and it was the WrestleMania that was like behind closed doors, and they did like an interview with KO because obviously he jumped off the sign and like all that stuff, and I was just like, this guy's cool, like this guy's awesome. So yeah, and then I've seen like the KO show after that and stuff, and I just really like him. I think he's so good. So I'm really excited about him and Roman. I think that's gonna be a really good match. And yeah, just his whole like thing about not being afraid of him, and how it's so easy to just show people respect and just be nice to people, but Roman doesn't know how to. Yeah, I really like that whole angle. And I also really like that Roman being like back and being in the main event has brought the Usos into that as well. Obviously Jimmy is injured at the moment, I'm pretty sure, but having Jay in the main event and stuff, I've always loved the Uso brothers. I just think they are so talented. But like I said, when I was watching WWE, they weren't like main eventing or anything like that. I don't even remember if I saw them win the tag team championships. I could be wrong about that. It's obviously a long time ago for me now. But yeah, I always loved them, and I always thought they had just so much potential. They were so good. So having Jay like up in the main events has been really cool as well. The first match was Natalya versus Bayley. It was, honestly, for being the only women's match on SmackDown, I thought it was kind of short. It was a bit like meh. But I think Bayley's a great heel because I really don't like her. I love Bayley, like I do, I love her, like as a person I think she's just the sweetest, but she plays that heel so well that it's so good. Natalya, I love her, I do, I have such a place in my heart for Natalya. She's the only women's wrestler that's still around, I'm pretty sure, unless I'm forgetting someone. I know Mickie James is like back, but I haven't seen her properly like since I've been watching it, because I'm pretty sure she's out. But aside from her, Natalya's the only one left from when I was watching WWE that I know, and so that's really, yeah, I have a lot of love for her, because I kind of watched her for a really long time, and I also watched her on Total Divas as well. And I think when you watch like Total Divas or like now with the network and stuff, there's so much more opportunity to see the wrestlers like in real life and see them interviewed and see them how they are, like how they interact with each other, and just the love and passion they have for the sport as well. That I think it's a lot easier now. I don't know if easy is the right word, but you can really get invested in them. And yeah, like I said about Lana and Natalia as well, I watched them on Total Divas. You see how much they love it, you see their passion for it, and I think that really translates when you watch them then on SmackDown on Raw. So I love Natalia. And she won with the sharpshooter, which is always a classic, always a favourite of mine, the sharpshooter. So yeah, overall I think it was a good match. It was just like a bit short, but Bianca was there, and I love Bianca. I just adore her. I think she's so talented. She's so good. Watching her on Team SmackDown, I wanted her to win so bad. I understand why they went with the count out and Lana being the sole survivor, like to go along with her storyline, but I love Bianca. And she's really talented in the ring, but she's also a great talker. Like when she was on commentary, like she's so likable, she's just so funny. She has everything, and I really want her to have a title run so bad. I don't know if it'll be like against Sasha Banks now, but I think that would be, I really want her to win on. So then they had a 6-man tag match, and it was a Pat Patterson tribute match because all of the contestants have been Intercontinental Champion before, and obviously Pat was the first Intercontinental Champion. So it was Rey Mysterio, why do I keep wanting to say Sami Zayn? He was there, but he was on the other team. Maybe we'll start with him. Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, and Shinsuke Nakamura, and then it was Rey, Big E, and Daniel Bryan. For some reason I just had to say Sami Zayn's name first, it just wanted to come out like that. I really enjoyed this match, I thought it was really good. I love Rey. I've loved Rey for 10 years, he's been one of my up there favourite wrestlers of all time. And a lot of my favourite wrestlers now have come and gone from being on TV every week, so the fact that I get to see Rey, same with like Jeff, the fact that I still get to see them on like performing every week, that's big for me. Like I love that, I really do. And you have to cherish that as well, I feel like, because wrestlers get injured all the time, their careers can be over like so quickly, so I feel like anytime that I still get to watch them wrestle, that's, yeah. And Rey was amazing, as he always is. His movesets, just everything, he is so impressive to watch, and I always love his matches because, and the thing is, I've seen so many Rey matches over the years, so many, but I'm always impressed. Like every time he comes out, I'm always like what combination is he gonna do, what high flying stuff is he gonna do, and I'm always impressed by him every time, like I'm watching him for the first time. I love him. Daniel Bryan as well was kind of like the main guy in the match. He is so good, and I get the same feeling with him when I watch Edge now as well. Obviously I've only seen Edge a couple times, but when you watch people who this career is their life, it's everything, it's their passion, and you know, an injury takes it away from them and they're told they have to retire, it's really hard. Like Edge's retirement speech made me cry like an absolute baby. And Daniel Bryan again was on Total Divas with Brie, and you saw how much he wanted to wrestle. Same with Paige on Total Divas. She wants to wrestle so bad and she can't because of her neck. So to see him like have to retire but then be able to come back is really special. I missed the big return, I missed his winning at WrestleMania and all that stuff. I feel like I might have to go and watch it because it just seems like such a huge moment. Big E, I love the New Day so much, but I'm really enjoying Big E's solo stuff. I think he's really like thriving. He just seems so lovely. He's like, he brings those comedic elements and he makes the match so much more fun to watch. So I really love him. Sami Zayn, I'll be honest, I don't really know who Sami Zayn is. I think he's like a guy from NXT, and he's quite popular. I've heard about him, but like I said, I haven't watched it for a long time, so he's not a guy that I really know that well. For me, I know him as the guy that took Jeff's Intercontinental title away, so he was in my bad books, but Miranda like loves him and I trust her judgment, so I'll let it slide. He was really good. I really love, as much as I love like the more, I don't even know what you'd call it, like intense heels, like, you know, proper like baddies. I really love cheeky heels. Like I love like the cheap shots and the like pulling the legs during matches, like all that stuff. So yeah, I do like Symphony. Dolph is a classic. He's a classic heel for me. I love Dolph. I genuinely do. He plays that kind of like cocky, underhanded, like just smarmy heel so well, and then like at the end when he was like, no, like don't hurt me and stuff, like it's just, yeah, I love him. I think he's so good, and the fact that he's still there as well, I'm just like, I honestly love that for him. Shinsuke is another one I don't know too well, and honestly in this match he didn't really have any like big moments or anything, so I still don't really know a lot about him, but I have heard a lot about him, that he's very talented, he's very good, so I'm excited to see him wrestle again. But yeah, in this match he didn't really have a lot, he wasn't in it a lot really. I loved the ending of like how it was like the Pat Patterson's signature like pin, and then how they like left and then they came back in and everyone got to kind of like hit their finishes and stuff, because I love seeing the 619. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one as well. I think that was probably my favourite match. I think that was my favourite match on SmackDown this week. They had Sasha Banks and Carmella interviewed. I really like Carmella's rebrand. This whole like, I don't know about like the whole untouchable thing, but just like her look and like this like heel persona, I really like it. I love her like other ones, like the whole Money in the Bank thing, her and R-Truth, like I like her babyface stuff, but I think her heel stuff is really good. I think she's a good opponent for Sasha. I love Sasha. She's just one of my personal favourites. I love her as the champion, so I don't want to see her lose it to Carmella at TLC, but I do think it's going to be a really good match. Okay, so Murphy with the Mysterio family versus King Corbin. King Corbin, I'll be honest, I don't connect with him. I don't really like his gimmick. No offense, I'm sure he's a lovely guy, but I'm not really a fan of the whole like King thing. Murphy, I'll be honest, I didn't really know a lot about Murphy either. I saw his whole thing with like Seth, but honestly that was more about Seth than it was about Murphy. Like, let's just call a spade a spade. So once they'd kind of like split, I feel like Murphy's kind of had a chance to like shine on his own now. Watching him one-on-one with King Corbin, I was really impressed. I thought he was so good. He was so like agile, and he had such good such a good moveset. I was like, yeah, I was really impressed. I really liked his match. I don't really know why. I don't know if it's just like a push thing to put the Mysterio name next to his to kind of give him a bit of a push, but I feel like having the family there doesn't really add anything for me, I don't think. I'll just be honest, I'm not that big of a fan of the relationship, because she is only 18 and he's 35 or something, which I get it, it's just a storyline, I get it, but it's still a little weird. So yeah, I don't really know if maybe like him and Dominic are gonna like team up or something, maybe like go for like the tag team titles or something down the line, but they're still keeping them together even after like Seth left and stuff, so I don't really know where they're going with that. You know, like when they come out and it has their stats, like it tells you what championships they've won and like all that stuff. In his stats, it literally had girlfriend is Alea Mysterio. That was one of his stats, honestly. Yeah, and the last match was Roman. It was supposed to be Roman and Jay versus Otis and KO, but like Roman didn't come out for like 5 minutes. He was like, I come out on my own time, which I thought was amazing. That was so good. Jay and KO I thought were really good. Yeah, like I said, I love KO. He's so agile, even though he's like more of a powerhouse type, which is really cool, kind of like Keith Lee in that way. I just thought it was so funny. Like, they'd pan to Roman like stood on the side and he literally just stood there like so disappointed in what he was watching. And then Kevin using the Samoan drop, I thought that was genius. Like, that was such a good like way to taunt him. I thought that was great. I was writing my review for it like as I was watching it, and I was like, I'm not sure when like Jay's gonna like kind of like turn on Roman maybe, because he was gonna, I think he was gonna hit his finishing move, and Roman was like, no, like this is my show, let me finish it, and like ordered him to come and tag him in. So I was kind of thinking like, how long is Jay gonna like kind of like take this, and then when's he gonna turn on him? And then literally, as I've just like written it down, like 2 minutes later Roman was hitting him with a chair, and I was like, I literally was like I did not see it coming at all. It was so brutal, like him hitting Kay with a chair and then fully just turning around and hitting Jay with a chair. Such a good end to the show. I love Roman, I really do. I think he's my favourite heel on both shows at the moment. Just overall I think he's my favourite heel because he's so good. It's just such good TV. I'm so invested in his storyline. So yeah, that's it. That's Raw and SmackDown for this week. I'm trying to try and yeah, do this every week. They should be up on Saturdays. If they're not, then they'll be up on Sundays. And then my actual reviews of each individual show will be up on the blog anyway, like during the week. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. Like I said, I'm not a professional. This is not like a proper like serious review. It's literally just like if you were going to chat to your friends about what you thought of the shows this week. Like, it's super chilled. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.